Hey everyone, good morning. Welcome to another episode of the DunnWisdom Morning Show. I am your host, Melissa P. Dunn, CEO of MD Marketing Network and founder of this DunnWisdom movement. So it's been a minute since I've gone live. We have been testing out a new format for season 2, which is where I pre-record the interviews for Mondays and post them. And then we continue to do the Lauderhill Business Spotlights live on Fridays. Well, after trying this for a few weeks, the views are kind of low. So I've decided that I'm going to go back to the original formula, which is coming on live, so that you will have the opportunity to join in on the conversation as you learn from experts. Now, you know this show, we are dedicated to bringing you tips and strategies that you can use in order for you to move your life forward. On Monday, we do that by introducing you to change makers in the community, folks who are really getting it done, women who are on top of their game. And then on Wednesdays, I come to you live and I share with you some tips. I'm actually calling it Just Done, right? So a moment for me to share with you some of marketing tips as well as some success strategies that's going to support you in life and in business. And so today, I'm going to speak about fear. We are going to talk about fear. My gosh, that thing that stops us, that keeps us stuck, that keeps us feeling limited. Fear is the robber of dreams, the killer of dreams, the killer of hope. It is the exact opposite of love, prosperity, abundance. And so, today we're going to talk about how to push through the fear, how to do more than just conquer it, but to really free ourselves from the mental slavery that fear keeps us stuck in. So if you know that you have a dream in your heart, a passion, a drive, something that God has really placed on your spirit, but fear is keeping you stuck, this is the show that you want to watch. I'm going to share with you some actionable strategies that I use and that my clients use to push past fear. So I want you to go ahead and take out your notebook if you're in a position. If you're driving, listen and then go back and watch the replay so that you can write down these notes. Pick one strategy, guys. Pick at least one strategy and implement it for the next 7 days, right? I promise you, you will see a difference in your life. Now, fear is something that I have struggled with in my life for a while. One thing in particular that I have been afraid of is swimming. I have been deathly afraid of swimming, as in, when I was 10 years old, I can't swim, period, right? So when I was 10 years old, we were living in, where were we living? We were living in Fort Hood at the time. And I remember the military base had a community pool where all of the kids would go to swim. And I went there, and hot summer Texas day. And this chubby little boy dared me to jump off the high platform. Mind you, I can't swim. But I, even at 10 years old, was a bold girl. And how dare this boy challenge me, as in, like, I can't do it, I can't do it. So, of course, I climbed up, like, to the highest platform, and I jumped. Dove into the deep end of the pool, couldn't swim, panicked, almost drowned. The lifeguard had to come in to save me. And do mouth to mouth, let me tell you guys, it was like the worst moment of my 10-year-old life at that point. Talk about fear, right? And so after that, I made a choice. I made a decision to never, ever, 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 ever go into dark water where I can't see the bottom, or any water that, you know, my feet can't touch the bottom. I'm certainly not going to put my head underwater. I just won't do it again. I made a decision. And even talking about it, I can feel the fear right here in my throat, even just talking about it, right? And I'm about to be 48. And that happened to me when I was 10. And so that stopped me from enjoying a lot of things. I haven't been, you know, up to that point, I never went swimming with friends. I didn't do pool parties. I didn't do any of that stuff. And if I did, it was just surface enjoyment, right? And what I know for sure is that if you allow fear to show up in one area of your life, it's going to show up in all other areas of your life. So the way that I dealt with my fear around swimming is the way that I dealt with my fear around, you know, sales, or around, you know, asking for help. It's the same mechanism that kept me stuck. And when you think about your fear, what's keeping you stuck? What are you afraid of? What are you afraid of right now? Type it into the chat. I want to know, what are you afraid of? Right? Hi, Tina. Thank you for joining us. Good morning. Good morning. Good morning. Good to see you too, my friends. Thank you. Thank you. My hair was actually braided by one of my Lauderhill Shines business, Truly Rooted in Lauderhill. Fabulous hairstylist. All right. So she says, I have a hope of getting out of fear as well. A personal incident happened to me as well. Yeah. And it keeps you stuck, right? It keeps you feeling limited. And so, you know, I made the decision that fear was no longer going to be a factor for me. So I asked for support, and I also learned how to swim. Took swimming lessons, actually went to the deep end of the pool, dove off the side of the platform, and I learned how to swim, right? So I'm going to teach you some strategies that I think will help you, right? But I want to share with you that not only did I learn how to swim, but I actually went whitewater rafting in California, you guys. Let me pull this up and I'm going to share with you the photos. I went whitewater rafting in California. And as a result, after we were whitewater rafting for a while, there came a point where we got to this cliff, right? And the guy was like, okay, you guys are going to jump off the cliff. Can you imagine? Jump off a cliff, you guys. So, needless to say, even though at this point I had learned how to swim, the thought of jumping off of a cliff was just, it was unimaginable. Unimaginable. And so here I was. Let me put this so you can see it. Here I was, standing on the cliff. Now, the person in the middle of this photo was a kid, like maybe 8, 9 years old. And he already jumped once, and now he's coming back to jump again. And I remember the fear feeling so paralyzing that I almost didn't do it. And so do you know what I had to do? The first thing I had to do was I had to breathe. I had to breathe, and I had to name the fear and say, listen, I'm feeling fear right now. And for me, when I feel fear, I feel it in my throat. Like I can't speak, like there's a knot right here. So I touched my throat where I felt the fear manifesting in my body, and I named it, and I breathed through it, and I spoke to it. I said, fear, I see you, but I'm safe. I'm loved. Everything is always working out for me. I had to speak to my fear, and I had to command it to leave my body. And then I took a deep breath and I jumped. I jumped into the dark waters of a California river. This is me at 10 years old before saying I will never jump anywhere again. But here I am now, 47 years old, facing my fear, jumping into dark, cold waters. Why? Because I know that I am destined for greatness. Why? Because I know that love, where there is love, fear cannot triumph. Where there is love, fear has no place. And so I jumped. Here's my question to you today. What are you afraid of? What's your cliff that you're afraid to jump from? What's your dark waters? Pick one thing, and make the commitment to face it. Make the commitment to face it. Here's some actionable strategies that work really well. First thing, when you feel the fear, breathe. This is a mindfulness technique that I learned from Thich Nhat Hanh from Plum Village. He's a Buddhist monk. And he says, when you're feeling the emotion, put your hand over your heart and take 3 cleansing breaths in the midst of feeling the fear. This will calm your nervous system down, right? So this is what I do. I find my heartbeat, I put my hand over here. This is me connecting, right? Coming back home to who I really am. And I breathe. I breathe in. Breathing in love. Breathing out fear. Breathing in love. Breathing out fear. Breathing in love. Breathing out fear. Do that 3 times. Do it as many times as you need to until your nervous system calms down, until you're able to drop back into your body. All right? Just breathe. That's strategy number 1. The next strategy is to name the emotion. Recognize it, right? Shine the light on it. Figure out where in your body you feel it. Some people will feel fear, maybe your hands shake, maybe your jaws clench up. As I mentioned before, my throat closes. I feel like somebody gets a fist and they're holding it like that. That's how fear presents itself in my body, right? And so, name it. Fear. I feel you. I see you. Right? And since it's here for me, sometimes I tap on my throat and I just do that for 10 times as I breathe, as I calm down my nervous system. Okay. So step 1 is breathe. Step 2 is name the emotion. And then step 3 is speak to it. I'm safe. I am loved. I am destined for greatness. Everything is always working out for me. Nothing formed against me, no weapons formed against me shall prosper, right? Speak to your fear because you are bigger than anything that's trying to hold you back. And everything that you need to push through it is already inside of you, okay? So speak to your fear by breathing and seeing it, by breathing and naming it, by breathing and speaking to it. You now drop into your body and you are now connecting to that which is greater than yourself. For me, I call source God, all right? Commit, then now you're connecting, you're aligning yourself. And then you're going to ask for help. Sometimes in the beginning, all you can do is step 1 to 3. And that's okay. If that's where you are right now, just do step 1 to 3. Breathe it, breathe, name the feeling, and then speak to it. Reaffirm it. Use positive words, right? That will calm your nervous system. And then if you're ready to go to the next level, ask for help. Say, God, I'm feeling afraid right now. Source, I'm feeling afraid right now. Universe, Allah, Yahweh, I'm feeling afraid right now. Ancestors, I'm feeling fear right now. Help me. Help me to understand this fear so that I can transform it. Understanding is the first part of transforming the fear. So ask for help. And once your nervous system is calm and you've asked for help, you're now strong enough to push through by examining the fear, right? And you're going to ask yourself a series of what Reverend Michael Beckwith called empowering questions. You're going to ask yourself, what am I really afraid of? Right? I have a journal that I keep where I write down when fear comes up for me, I write it in my journal and I ask myself, what am I really afraid of? And I make a list. I list the fear, right? So for example, let's use my previous fear of swimming. Previous fear of swimming. Let's use that as an example. So I would say to myself, well, what are you afraid of? Well, I'm afraid of drowning. Okay. What conditions would put me in a position to drown? And then I would say, well, if I don't know how to swim, well, okay, so let's figure out a strategy to teach yourself how to swim. So I took swimming lessons. All right. Well, if I'm not a strong enough swimmer, okay, great. That's a possibility. So let's put on a helmet, as you saw in those photos, and let's put on a life jacket. Okay, that's how we're going to deal with that strategy. Do you see what I mean? So now you're allowing source and your intellect to help you to solve the challenge that your fear presents, right? Because guess what? Every challenge is an opportunity for a solution. The question is, are you ready to face it? Are you ready to push through? Are you ready to free yourself from the bondage that fear creates in your life? Are you ready? Are you ready to step fully into your greatness, to really truly become the woman or the man that God created you to be? Are you ready? If that's the case, then you're going to be a little uncomfortable. You got to shed the layer. You got to shed the habits. You got to shed the thought patterns. You got to shed the behaviors that's keeping you where you are right now so that you can get to where you're trying to go to. And sometimes that means taking yourself on. That means facing your fear. That means freeing yourself from the bondage. That means really tapping into that which is already yours, so that you may emerge into the higher version of yourself, so that you may emerge into the woman, man, or child that God created you to be. But you got to take on your fear. So here's my challenge. Pick a fear. Pick a fear today. Pick one thing. It doesn't have to be a huge thing, but pick one thing. Ask yourself some empowering questions. Examine the fear. And then take steps to transform that fear into love. Take steps to transform that fear into possibilities. You know what? I believe in you. I believe that the dreams that you have in your spirit, the dreams, the seeds that have been planted in you, deserve an opportunity to grow. So plant them in fertile soil, soil filled with love and joy and abundance. Water them with positive thoughts, right actions, so that they may grow and bear fruit, so that you may leave a legacy that was born out of your soul. That is my encouragement for you today. All right. Okay, let's check in and see what, yes. Oh, thank you. Thank you, Tina. I appreciate that. And yes, I could feel him using me for sure, for sure, for sure, for sure. All right, ladies. I hope that this was, ladies and gentlemen, I hope that this was a fruitful conversation for you today. And I really encourage you to pick a fear and try these strategies that I shared with you this morning, and let me know how they work for you. All right. So remember, be kind and loving to yourself. Oh, by the way, you guys, please share this video, like, comment, spread the word, and be kind and loving to yourself. You deserve it. I'll see you on Friday with another Lauderhill Business Spotlight. Be well, everyone.